6 o'clock.
Okay, it is 6 o'clock. We have a quorum. Hereby call this meeting of the Delta Charter Township Zoning Board of Appeals to order. You all please join me in the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's all. All right. Roll call. Ms. Frizzell.
Here.
Ms. Cascarella.
Present.
Mr. Corey.
Here.
Mr. Skiles.
Here.
Mr. McConnell.
Present.
Mr. Kaltenbach. Here. Darking, that's me, I'm here. Okay, full house. Next item is approval of the agenda. I would note one item, the header of the minutes. No, that's never mind, that comes later. Approval of the agenda. Entertain a motion for that.
I'll make that motion, or I'll second it.
I think you won and you were second. Motion on the floor, and support, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the agenda is adopted. You'll notice on the agenda, citizen comments for items not on the agenda. Is there anybody here that wants to comment for an item that's not on tonight's agenda? Hearing none, moving on. Approval of the minutes. I do notice one thing about the minutes. The header says Planning Commission, Zoning Board. With that one edit, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Support.
Motion on the floor, it has all support, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Being none, we have minutes.
You're skipping correspondence.
Oh, I skipped correspondence, I'm sorry. Back up to that. Staff, do we have any correspondence on tonight's cases or anything else?
Not today.
Okay. You. New business, we have before us case PV 2025-0001. Staff, would you please introduce the new case?
Sure. So before us today, we have a variance request for 12595 Broadbent Road. Variance from chapter 4, section 4.08, table 4.08-C1. For a variance of 11 feet to create a 154-foot wide AG2 zone parcel when the ordinance requires 165 feet of lot width. So projected right now, we have a location map. Saginaw Highway is just to the south, Willow to the north, and this is Broadbent. The parcel is adjacent and just north of the Delta Crossings development. In red is the applicant's parcel. Which is 596.96 feet long with a width of 319 feet. Currently, there is a single family residence located on what's proposed to be the southern half of the parcel. If allowed to, if the variance is approved, the southern half is the part that they're requesting the variance for. The northern half would meet 165 feet as required by the zoning ordinance. Existing, the parcel is 4.37 acres in size. Applicant has stated that he plans to build a house for himself and sell the existing home to a family member. I can take any questions that you may have, or the applicant is here to answer any questions you might have.
Are there any questions for staff? Yes, Ms. Cascarella.
Yeah, I understand this is zoned ag. Is that in our master plan, is it intended to be ag, and just given all the surrounding uses, it seems a little outdated?
And so right now we're operating off the 2013 master plan. The proposed use in this location is low density residential. Low density residential is casts a wide net. AG2 is considered part of low density residential. It goes up to RC, moderate density residential. So I think your feelings are correct, and I had a discussion with the applicant about if rezoning was a more proper way to handle this, but we determined that kind of the easiest route would be AG2. Also, the applicant enjoys some of the benefits that an ag zoning district gets you.
What are those?
Basically, a right to burn. You don't have to have a burn permit.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for staff? I have one, in order to affect a lot split, they're gonna need to do a meets and bounds survey that hasn't happened yet.
It hasn't happened yet. He is working on it. He understands. And if you see in the staff report, the last sentence, that if there's some discrepancy in what was presented tonight, he may be required to come back and adjust their request. It's a very easy meets and bounds legal description, though.
Any chance he has 11 feet he doesn't know he has?
There's potentially, sure, but if that is the case, then the applicant would have to come back for the new, that's the risk with not providing the survey right now. Yeah, hold on.
Well, if he has it and he gets a variance, does the variance still stand?
He would have to come back for a new variance. Yeah, that's the risk of going before.
But if he has the requisite space and he gets the variance on top of that, does the variance still stand?
It would be moot at that
Yeah.
point. If you're saying if he has that 11 feet and can
Because it
do
runs
it.
with the land, I mean, forever, and we've given it for nothing at that point. And the other question is, how does this lot compare widthwise to the lot to the north, do you know?
What do you mean what do you say, the existing lots?
Yeah.
I believe the existing lots would have enough space to split it in half. But it is, approximately a 4-acre parcel as well, a little bit over.
There's no other questions for staff. I would entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Before by Mr. Corey, supported by Ms. Frizell. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, we are in the public hearing. So anybody from the audience would like to come to speak to this petition? Speak to this case? The applicant.
Yes, thank you. Okay, if the comes up,
Sure. I just ask that whoever speaks, please state your name and record, address for the record.
Hello, Vladimir Zakvik, resident. So,
And your address, please.
12595 Broadbent Road.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we actually have a survey in hand. If that helps.
Yeah, I guess it does.
Okay. I can enter that into the record or however you want to do this.
Well, please share it with staff.
Okay.
Unless you need it for your presentation.
No.
You didn't find 11 feet in your survey?
I did not find
Just thought I'd ask.
Great question.
I had to ask because I've seen it before.
I did not find 11 feet. My parcel is 319. The parcel to the north, which would be the Kerrigan residence, is 319. And the parcel to the south is more than 319. They're around 330, I think. 335.
So the numbers at the bottom, the 154 and the 165 are borne out by the survey?
Correct.
They are.
So, you've given the board some written responses to the criteria for granting a variance. I wonder if you could briefly review those verbally with particular emphasis to how this is not self-created.
Which is what? Question 2 or 3?
Question 1, maybe 1 and 3, depending how you count.
So this parcel was purchased at 319
Okay.
in 1976. So it was split at that time from, I don't know how large of a parcel it was. not my intent or not our intent to purchase or whatever. And, you know, we haven't split this before. So I'm not sure what you mean by it's self-created.
So the lot is in full compliance now. It's what you want to do to it that would put it out of compliance.
That's correct.
And you say that the lot would, the split would not cause an adverse impact on adjacent properties?
That is my belief, yes. The parcel on either side is Ag 2, AG 2. Yeah, single residence on the north and single residence on the south. We would take one single residence lot and turn it into, well, still maintain single resident lots by maintaining the AG 2.
This is Amy Zykovic. Address 12595 Broadbent. We feel it's a benefit because it's my understanding with is it RB that we discussed, it could further be split. So if we tried to get a RB zoning, then the lot could be further split. Our intent as a family, you know, we're going to maintain the single residence. So when we're gone, the piece would still be zoned as intended, like how we have it and our neighbors have it. So any future owners would have to come back to the board to rezone, to split it further. Our house is back far enough where I believe a smaller parcel could be created in the front. So, but our intention of our family, our daughter's gonna purchase our home, we're gonna build another one. Is to maintain the single residence and kind of the rural nature of the pine trees. And to fit in with what's existing.
As I recall, the existing house does not have any setback issues, does it?
No.
Mr. Chair, I have a question for staff, if I may. So the house was built in 96. Did our zoning change at all for this, like on
I
the
believe the-
splits or anything like that? Were there changes?
No, I believe the standards for AG2 are the same as they were in 1990.
Okay, so none of that has changed. Okay. And if I understood your comments correctly, you were not seeking the zoning change because that would potentially allow further splits from future owners on that
That's
property.
one of the reasons, yeah.
I appreciate that. I think that was all my questions. Thank you.
Okay. You said you stated that the variance is not contrary to the purpose of the ordinance. Because it's essentially because the use will be the same.
Yes, both lots will tend to be AG2 versus one being an AG, one being an RB.
And then there's no use of neighboring lands or structures that have influenced this. That are being used as grounds for justifying this one.
That's correct. It's AG2 all around us.
The variance is unique to the parcel.
Mr. Chair, if I may again.
Let's go scroll again.
I do have another question. So do we know, I'm sure this has been in place for some time, but is there any sense of the rationale for the minimum width that we have in our ordinance? And I mean, is that kind of just arbitrary
I
or
mean,
is there
you know,
some rationale?
At some point, someone decided that they, AG2 should be a minimum acre parcel. And, that was just an approximation. You could have picked really any number to kind of get a large lot, single family. And at some point in Delta Township, someone picked 165.
So is there, how big would the lots be?
There's a 2 minimum acre lot size for AG2, so that one, even though they would be 11 feet of less lot width, are still able to meet the 2 acre minimum lot
Okay,
area
thank you. That's what I was wondering. Appreciate that.
On both lots.
on both lots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any
So-
other questions for the applicant? Applicant. Is there anybody else here that would like to speak to this petition? Do you have anything else to add?
I don't.
I don't think so.
I think we said-
Okay. Feel free to have a seat.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
With that, I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Support.
Moved by Mr. Corey, supported by Mr. Cascarilla to close the public hearing. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, hearing none, public hearing is closed. What is the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna make a comment, but I'll let you make a motion first.
I was waiting for the pause. Sorry.
I move to approve the requested variance from chapter 4, section 4.08, table 4.08, C1 of the Delta Township zoning ordinance to allow the subject parcel number 040-008-200-060-00 located at 12595 Broadbent Road to create a AG2 zone parcel with 154 foot of lot width when the ordinance requires 165 feet for a variance of 11 feet. The applicant has demonstrated a variance request satisfies review criteria established in section 1504 B and C of the Delta Township zoning ordinance.
Who's on the floor? Does that support?
Support.
Mr. Corey supports. This will be a roll call vote.
Before we vote, can
Oh,
we just make
yeah.
a comment? I just wanted to say, as the board representative on the ZBA, we've been having lots of conversations around housing and obviously huge needs, not only in our community here, but all across the state. I think probably most communities across the country, but we're constantly thinking about what we can be doing to help make it easier to add housing. We know there are a lot of costs, with materials and labor and things like that. It's just very expensive and a challenge, especially for new home ownership. I mean, it's, I think, for many, I think entry level homes, first time home, 300,000 is usually what that is. And that's really kind of not affordable for many people. So I see this as a small opportunity. The ability to kind of split a lot really is helping support new home ownership. And I think it still in spirit complies with kind of what the intent was with the 2 acre size and in this kind of zoned area. So just want to share that because the board's been having a lot of discussions around housing and we'll be having a lot more about what we can be doing to help incentivize and promote more in our, throughout the community. So I think this is one small way.
I think it's a good point, and I would also add that it's easier to embrace that because the ordinance doesn't give me any basis for evaluating why 154 is substantively worse than 165. I just don't, I can't get there. Anybody else commentary before we have a vote? Okay, we have a motion on the floor. It has support. It's the roll call vote. Mr. McConnell.
Support.
Mr. Corey.
Yes.
Mr. Skiles.
Support.
Ms. Cuscarella.
Yes.
Mr. Kaltenbach.
Yes.
Mr. Argy, that's me. I go affirmative as well. Motion carries.
May I vote?
No.
Didn't they call on you? Oh, I didn't call you?
No.
And Ms. Frizell says yes.
Ms. Frizell, for the record.
For the record, yes.
Okay, I'm so sorry. So it has passed unanimously. Staff, will you please advise the applicant of next steps?
So your variance has passed. You can go ahead and submit paperwork for the land division. Yep.
Do you need this back, survey?
I don't know if you need it for record or.
You'll need to turn it in for the land division,
Yeah.
so we'll get a copy of it then.
Okay, you can get with us tomorrow or whenever.
Good luck, enjoy it.
Thank you.
That brings us to other business and we have a proposed closed session with legal counsel to consider material exempt from disclosure pursuant to MCL 15.268H and MCL 15.2.431G. I would entertain a motion that we go into closed session with legal counsel to consider that material.
So moved.
Support.
Which on the floor, it has support. Roll call vote needed. All in favor?
Aye.
It's a
Roll call vote.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, roll call vote on. Roll call vote, hold on. Mr. McConnell. Support. Mr. Corey.
Yes.
Mr. Skiles.
Yes.
Ms. Cuscarella.
Yes.
Ms. Frizell.
Yes.
Ms. Kaltenbach.
Yes.
Mr. Kaltenbach. Mr. Argy. Yes. We're now in closed session. Please,
I move that we.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Frizell, supported by Mr. Corey to come out of closed session. I guess it also calls for a roll call vote. Mr. McConnell.
Yes.
Mr. Corey.
Yes.
Mr. Skiles. Yes. Ms. Frizell.
Yes.
Ms. Cascarella.
Yes.
Mr. Kaltenbach. Yes. Mr. Arking, yes. We are out of closed session. Next item on the agenda is staff comments.
We don't have a lot to add today, so thank you all for participating in the training. It was great, and
Thanks for arranging that. Really appreciate it.
yeah, if there's any other things like that we can do, whether it's an online resource or an in-person visit, or if we need to schedule a specific issue, we have, a budget to do that. Well, limited budget, but we can do that.
I
So
think we should have the attorney here every time.
this was a one-time deal. The next time we'll have to be more specific. Okay, so typically I would just provide a couple comments on kind of projects around, but this group doesn't have that as much. We do not have, as of now, any cases scheduled for the next meeting. We'll advise you if that changes, but as of now, we're not planning on an April meeting. I'm not aware of any kind of pending cases that we're waiting for an application for. So that's
You
all.
mentioned, you mentioned earlier about the existence of board member contact information on the website.
Yeah,
I've never been very bothered by it being there. I'd just be happy if the website was up to date.
that's something that our team is working on right now, is getting all that stuff updated. There's been kind of a transition of responsibility for some of that information. And with the new supervisor on, we kind of changed our process of appointments, and well, it's not even changing, it's more kind of solidifying what we're doing and having a firm procedure. I'm personally uncomfortable with having everyone's information on there. We're not required to do it. So we were talking to the clerk's office about that. It's more of a kind of an information thing that this is how it's one of those, we've always done it this way.
At first I was nervous, but about now,
I think we only got one letter, but I think my concern wasn't so much that they had it, but it's a concern that people who see that we're on the board know that we live in the township. That's just and maybe just referencing that, I guess, but that was my only concern, is just so to reassure individuals coming before us that we.
if somebody really wants to find me, it's not that hard.
No, and I'm not in the phone book, but everybody can find me, so I am.
Mhm.
But whatever's decided, it's fine with me.
Board comments from anybody on the board?
Oh, Chair, may I introduce Sarah Anderton? She's in the room here in the front row. She's our new, is with us 24 hours a week, 24 hours a week. So she's our new department assistant. So Sarah will be doing the minutes moving forward for the zoning board of appeals and helping us do packets and all kinds of other things.
You've made Clark very happy.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
So did they give you the 3 years worth of work that they? Please.
You'll find out about
Don't
it.
scare her
Don't
away.
pay the attention.
Welcome, thank you.
Any other board comments? If not, I entertain a motion for adjournment.
So move.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, adjourned. Thank you.
Aye.